When was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and we have another super duper awesome podcast episode for you today. But I want to check in with all of you to see how's your goal setting going. So everyone set your goals. We talked all about that in December, in January. How are you doing on reaching your goals? I know I promoted and started a 12-week workshop with all of you called the 12-week year. And it's an amazing program that has been used by thousands of individuals. And I want to ask you, how have you been doing on reaching your goals? If you're still struggling on reaching your goals, you're going to want to reach out to us at info@colleenbiggs.net, because no one should have to do entrepreneurship alone. And today we are going to talk with the beautiful Hope Zvara. You can see her on our Facebook page at Colleen Biggs. So go follow us over there. And today is all about small changes lead to big results. Small changes. We're not talking big, humongous changes. Small changes lead to big results. But before we get to that, I would love to thank our sponsor today, BizBolster Web Solutions. Imagine if you increase the visits to your website to have a consistent flow of new business. BizBolster Web Solutions designs websites and sets up tools that not only attract new prospects, but also starts building the know, like, and trust factor for those prospects when they land on your website. Through exceptional websites and targeted SEO, our clients are not only found online, but are also able to convey their area of expertise as well as the what's in it for me to their prospects. Imagine if it was this easy for you to increase sales for your business by driving more traffic to your website. Well, it is. Be sure to visit BizBolster Web Solutions at bizbolster.com to download your free SEO guide and schedule your discovery session today. They handle my SEO, and y'all know I'm on every page of Google, so they do a stellar job. I highly recommend getting your free download today, and they do a lot of coaches corners and Q&As on Meetup, so go check them out on Meetup as well. All right, now we are going to be talking to Hope Zvara. She's a yoga and lifestyle expert, motivational speaker, and CEO of Mother Trucker Yoga. I just love that. Mother Trucker Yoga, and the creator of Stiff Mother Trucker Pain Relief Cream. Hope believes it is about the small, simple changes that lead to big results, and that you can feel better wherever you are with the right attitude, tools, and guidance. Hope has been featured in Forbes, Yahoo News, Disrupt Magazine, and Truckers News, and dozens of radios and podcast shows. Hope has helped change thousands of lives over the last 20 years using her simple step-by-step feel better again with her unique, easy-to-follow approach to health and fitness while living her road as a trucker. Hope, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you? Thank you, Colleen, so much for having me on.
So great. So are you a trucker today? You living on the road as a trucker?
I am not. So Mother Trucker Yoga helps truck drivers. And so although I'm not a truck driver, I get to work with some of the best people on the planet every single day.
Nice. Yeah. I think they're overlooked, right? Because we don't get to engage with them very much unless you're hanging out at a truck stop. I mean, I would just have to say that, right? So I had a friend who actually spoke at a female trucker convention not too long ago. She said it was one of the best conventions she's ever been to. So you're right. Delightful women in that crew. So I have to know, Hope, you haven't been doing this forever. How did you get into working with truckers? Like where did this come from? What was the leap that you took in your life along the way that landed you to all of these doors opening and then it becoming the life that you have today?
Well, I always kind of felt like I was meant to help people. Although when I was younger, I didn't know what that would look like and how that would unfold. But emerging out of high school into my adult life, I was struggling with addiction. I was struggling with depression and anxiety. And this idea of yoga just kind of fell into my lap in a vague conversation with a colleague at the time. And I started taking yoga. And that was the first time where I really felt like, wow, I think I could live a normal life. Like, I think I could get well. I think that there's purpose for me and hope for me still. And there was something about leaving that first yoga class where my mind was clear and calm, and I was able to actually move forward. Now, that moment didn't last very long, but week after week, month after month, year after year, these strategies and techniques that yoga and meditation were teaching me about being in the moment and just taking one thing at a time. And, it's one thing to say those things in life, but yoga was kind of forcing me in a safe space to actually live that out. And eventually I stepped into recovery and felt like, man, I there's got to be other people like me. And so I started teaching yoga, then opened a yoga studio, then opened a yoga school. And that journey evolved. And I really made my way through the yoga and fitness world, speaking on stages and running teacher trainings. But that whole time, I always felt like this isn't where I 100% belong. Like, although this is going well and I love these people, like, I know I'm meant for more. And 5 years ago, I was at a local business mixer in my small hometown here in Wisconsin. My husband's in local government, and he's like, you should come. And so I decided to go, and I start talking to this guy I never met. And I'm trying to pitch him corporate yoga because that's what I was doing at the time, because I was trying to evolve my business, but I didn't know how to. And that was the path that was in front of me. And he looks at me and says, do you have anything for truck drivers? Like in the cab of the truck. And I think I'm funny sometimes. And I threw up my hands and I said, Mother Trucker Yoga, just to get a rise out of this guy. He looks at me and says, that's brilliant. You want to go into business together? We shook on it. The next morning he called me up. 4 months later, we built a business from scratch. And a year later, I bought him out of the business because it was really my vision. And I really ended up building it. And I think he was just put in my life to kind of move me in that direction.
Give you the idea and get the seed going. Yeah. Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love how we can just like throw stuff out. My husband and I bought a business with our son and our daughter-in-law. We have several children. We have 7, called Beyond Basil. And the name of the business when we bought it was Maiolo Doco. And that was their last name from Italy. And we're getting their recipes passed down to us. She said the hardest thing for people to find me on Instagram is that name. So I definitely recommend changing it. And and it's a very private event, weddings. This is not like a street truck. It's not one of those, street trucks or food trucks. And so my son was like, Fire and Slice. That's what we should call it. And I was like, it can't be something masculine like that, right? It's for weddings. It has to be feminine, like Beyond Basil or something like that. And my daughter-in-law was like, well, wait, what was that? What'd you say? And I said, I just said like, it needs to be something like that. She was like, I love that name. Why don't we use it? And I was like, well, I just said it in a sentence. She goes, where'd you get that from? I go, I don't know. I just said it. Just like you said, Mother Trucker, right? It just comes out, but it was there the whole time, but we never knew because it was never presented to us, right? To utilize what we've been tucking away. It's that whole RAS, that Mel Robbins talks about. We dismiss the thing. It dismisses things that aren't important to us and brings the things that are important to us through. And I love that you said that. So that's how you got started. I do believe that God aligns all the right people in our lives at the right time. 100%. And we try and force that timeline a lot. Right? We try and force that timeline a lot, but we just need to be patient and wait. And the right people always show up when they're supposed to. So you started the Mother Trucker, right? You bought him out of the business. So where did it go from there? Tell us what that typical day of working with someone who is a truck driver, they need it really bad because sitting, probably one of the worst things for your entire body. That's why you're standing.
Smoking.
I'm standing. Well, obviously we all know smoking or do we not? Maybe we don't know, but we'll share it right here first on Take the Leap with Colleen Biggs. Smoking is bad for you. You should not do that. Okay. So standing, we all know standing, very healthy for you, standing throughout the day, movement is really healthy for you. So how did you develop that curriculum for someone who's in the cab, right? To be able to do that because I don't know, do they throw a yoga mat out on the asphalt next to them and, get in down dog pose, or what happens?
That's a great question. And I think from my background in almost 20 years in the yoga and fitness world and more of a traditional space, one of the things that was super easy for me to take this leap, and when we had that conversation that night at that business mixer, it was like the whole vision of what I was supposed to be doing unfolded that day. You know how you do things and you think, man, is this ever going to work? Or why am I doing this way? Or what am I going to do with this? It's like all of a sudden the pieces come together. And that night that happened for me. And throughout all my teaching, I was always really big on functional movement or breaking poses down, because who cares if you can put your foot on your head or do a handstand or do a headstand for 20 minutes? How does that help you in your real life? And so I was very practical about the approach to yoga and very strategic about breaking down steps, because that was why I was able to step into recovery and live a full life and say I'm addiction free mentally and emotionally as much as I am just physically on the surface, is because yoga taught me how to break those things down. So I thought, wow, I could pull this over for truck drivers. And the driver's seat is really a chair. And the idea of we all, are limited on time. We all are doing too many things at once. We all feel confined to a space, whether it's our office, whether it's a driver's seat, whether it's our home, wherever it is. Like, we feel the confinements of not being able to do what we want to do with the ability and the space to do it. And so when I developed Mother Trucker Yoga's curriculum and programming, this was a no-brainer for me. Break things down, make everything into small bite-sized pieces so that they could feel wins faster, because I know, and probably many of your listeners, there's power in feeling like you've accomplished something. It's like addiction. It's like, oh, now I want more. That's an addiction I'll stick with, because you want more and more and more, and you're feeling confident. So I broke down all of the yoga. I like what would be the word? Destructured it. Kind of broke it all down. Yeah. So it's like one pose here, one pose here. Here's something you can do while filling up with fuel. Here's something you can do while driving. Here's a 30-second breathing exercise, to decrease stress, so that they could insert these things throughout the day. Because I don't know about you, I've never pulled into a truck stop and actually saw a truck driver exercising full blown out in the truck stop. Why? Because they're safe. They're not safe. They're gross. It's bad lighting. There's not a lot of space. And who wants everyone to be staring at you when you might already be self-conscious? So I took all of that off the table and broke it down into, my motto is, if you can't do it in, a minute or less, or 5 minutes or less, I'm not going to teach it to you. But if we insert movements here and there throughout the whole day, you may have 10, 20, even 30 minutes of additional movement by the end of the day. And if you decide to work out, well, that's just bonus. And that's become really an approach for life for me in general, not just what I teach with Mother Trucker Yoga.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about any busy entrepreneur. I have, a whole bunch of clients that I work with, plus, considering the LEAP community and the hundreds of women that are in that community. So we add that on top of all of them are like, if I have to add one more thing to my day, I don't have any more time. And that's time's a factor. So how is it that someone with 24 hours, which is every single one of us, can get so much more done and be more productive and be able to work out and eat healthy and meal plan and do all the things that they need to do? And other people struggle with that. It's these small changes that lead to the big results. And I think the biggest problem that most people, and the danger that most people have, is when they want to make big results, they make these massive changes. That happens every January. I'm going to sign up at the gym and I'm going to eat raw foods all week. And I'm going to no alcohol, no sugar, no, gluten, no dairy. And they've never worked out in a day in their life, and they've always eaten gluten. That's huge changes. I say, like, how about you put your tennis shoes on and go for a walk twice a week till you work up to getting to the gym? You know what I mean? That could last 6 months. You got to do and I love what you said, when you feel that small win. It's kind of like when you sell your first thing, if it's $20 or $27 or 40 cents, you're like, someone bought something of mine. And then you're like, I can sell that. And then that person will buy it. It's like,
and you don't want to confidence, right?
You don't go out and sell, like, I sold my first $30 package or $30,000 package today. Usually you work up, to it. And so I love that you said that. this is a danger zone for so many people, and it needs to be discussed. So you've done it really in the health area and wellness area, and you've seen it work for, talk to us through some of the successes that your clients have had.
Absolutely. Well, I think breaking down anything, I often follow the 1% rule. If you can just do one thing 1% better every single day, by the end of the year, that's 365% better. And so you were talking about like these big lofty goals people set. And I think they're admirable, and it's great to have that really big goal. But how do you reach any goal? If you want to write a book, it's not just, I'm going to write a book and tomorrow you write a book. Like maybe 1 in a million people actually do it in that way. Like there's a process. You have to work backwards. And so if you have a health goal, if you have a business goal, if you have a financial goal, whatever that big thing is, what's the step just before reaching it? And just keep working backwards until you get to where you are. And so I do this process with my drivers where it's like, okay, you want to lose 50 pounds. Well, I believe that weight loss is a side effect to good choices.
It is.
And so we gain weight because other things are not in place in our life. A wide variety of stuff. But so what can we do? What's the lowest hanging fruit? Well, you're not drinking any water at all right now. So how about just one bottle? And usually the reaction is like, but Hope, like I've been told I need to drink 8 ounces of water, 8 times a day. And I'm like, dude, you're not even drinking any water. So just one bottle, your body is going to be like dancing and just singing. And let's commit to that instead of drinking, however many ounces of water. And then you do it for a day. And then you think, wow, that's too hard. And so people are often shocked at this approach. And I do this in my business clients too, where it's like, let's break this all down. The reason why you don't have clients yet is because you're doing 900 different things, all not very well, mediocrely. And no wonder you're not moving forward, because nothing is moving forward. So you're absolutely right. We can transfer this approach to any aspect of our lives. And for those of you listening, if you feel like, man, I'm just not reaching my goals, maybe you're doing too many things, all of them moving you towards the big goal, but why not just pick one and nail it and then add the next one and then add the next one and build some momentum. And like you talked about time, like allowing you the time to organize yourself to see the value in where these things fit in, and you'll watch your life change.
Yeah. That's why I like the 12-week year so much. It's kind of just far enough away that it's there and you can see it, and it's a long enough period of time to make a huge impact. And several of my clients just jumped right in. They were like, I have all these goals I want to reach. I was like, nope, we're doing one. We're doing one of those goals, because I guarantee you're going to add 5 steps that you have to do every day to get to that goal, and it won't be sustainable. So when you want to see results, wherever you drive your energy is where you're going to get the return on results. So pick one thing. I love that. And do a small change in that area. If you want to, like you said, lose weight, right? You want to really focus on, maybe I cut out sugar 3 days a week, or after 6 o'clock at night. Just something simple like that. No snacking, or like you said, 1 bottle a day. Once you start drinking 1 bottle a day for a long period of time, it's going to be easy to drink too.
And you're probably naturally going to want to do it because you feel better. And
your body starts craving
this is the mind shift, because we've been sold all or nothing, whether it's in buying programs, products, services, that it's like, if you're not all in, if you're not, rising and grinding every day, well, you're never going to make it. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. Really, the power is in consistency. And how do we stay consistent? By biting off something that we can chew, building confidence in chewing that, and then taking a little more, and then taking a little more, and then taking a little more. Now, there's a line between being comfortable and making those changes that only meet our comfort zone, and then the things where it's like, okay, I do have to stretch myself a little bit. And let me tell you, a driver, for the very first time drinking a bottle of water and hasn't in 2 years, that's a big change. Or when my driver, Dean, decided to take the leap and start actually cooking some food on his truck, that was a big, scary change for him. But it was like, I'm just going to start with like a meal that I'm comfortable with food that I can store in my truck, and at a time of day that I know I'm going to have the time. Like that counts, you guys. Nowhere is there a Bible that says, if you don't do it all the time, if you don't do it every day, if you don't do it perfectly, it doesn't count. That's just not true.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you're saying that. You and I are very aligned. It's very aligned with my listeners and my audience of what they're used to hearing. And it's just the small things. It really is. It's just the small things. And it's about working smarter and not working harder. I think that old mentality, that old corporate mentality is just, and I think we were all raised with it from our parents because their parents raised them that way. You got to work hard for your money. It is ingrained in every cell of our body. And so we feel like if we're not doing and working hard, I'm never going to get any results. And it's so amazing how you can put just actions in place that aren't hard, that are smart, and you'll get massive results from it if you're just consistent with those small changes. Yeah. Huge. Well, you've been amazing today, Hope. I need to know, where do my listeners reach you? I have several links that you show up on. Well, what exactly would you say do you want our listeners to do? Do you want them to go to Instagram, follow you on Instagram because that's where you're putting out specific content? Do you want them to follow you on LinkedIn or follow a newsletter on LinkedIn? What is it that you want them to do today to get into your community?
Absolutely. I think the path of least resistance is find me on social media. Find me on Instagram. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram, both on my personal page, Hope Zvara, but also with Mother Trucker Yoga. And whether you're a truck driver, whether you're a school teacher, or heck, you're just like Colleen and I, and you work from a home office or you kind of doing your own thing, you're going to find tiny, easy strategies that you can implement right into your day. You're like, oh, I could do that. I could do that on my desk chair. Oh, I could buy that at the store. I don't go to the truck stop to shop, but I know I have that at my Walmart or at my Piggly Wiggly. And you can add those things to your life so that you can reach the results that you want, no matter what you're up against.
I love that you have Piggly Wigglies because you're in Wisconsin.
We do have Piggly Wiggly.
We don't have those in Arizona. So
you're missing out, Colleen.
I know. No, I travel a lot across the United States. So I've been to every, store. I've been to every Mavericks. I've been to every Piggly Wiggly. I've been all over to all the different stores in every place that I've traveled. It's an experience. It really is an experience of the different types of stores as you travel. So you can find Hope, like we said, at Mother Trucker Yoga, either on LinkedIn. She's out on Facebook, the Daily Dose of Hope on Facebook.
We have a positive quotes page. If you type my name in, Hope Zvara, I'll come up everywhere.
Yeah. And it's Zvara for those of you listening. And don't forget, when you're listening, just scroll down. We have all the links right there at your fingertips. We make it easy. All you do is click the link. You're going to go right to her page through your phone. It's super simple. We know that most of our listeners, about 90% of them listen on their phones, which we expect. So, all of those are right there for you. And Hope, what one last thing would you like to share with the listeners today, that the one thing that they could change in their lives just to get big results from?
Take the leap, because you have a wonderful life out there waiting for you. But you have to make the decision today to start. You have to make the decision today to tackle one thing and commit to it 100%. And you have to make the decision today that you are worth it. Why? Because you wouldn't be here if you weren't. And so as you work and try to reach your goals in any category in life, put yourself as a top shelf priority and start to make headway with tiny little bite-sized things that you can check off every single day. And you look back at the end of the day, the week, the month, or the year, and you'll see how much amazing things that you've accomplished, all because you committed to the small, simple changes.
I love that so much, Hope. That really resonates, especially with this time of year. So thank you for that. And just remember, all of you out there, you're the only you that's ever been. You're the only you that will ever be. That's it. You've got you. So how you navigate your future is up to you. You can either choose, like Hope said, to make these small changes, to make yourself that top shelf priority, and then you will see big results in your life, or you won't. We're here to support you when you do. And we're here to say, take that leap, because we did it. And we always land on our own 2 feet, and you will too. So Hope, thank you so much for being with us today. To our listeners, don't forget, be you and be strong. Until next time, bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery, where you learned the tools to create a life by design. Remember, you are the only you there is, and you are the only you that will ever be. Be you and be strong, because you are brilliant, and the world needs you at your best. We cannot wait for you to join us again next time.